is the CEO for COO for Indian Society of Agri Professionals. So we want to compare like to like Africa and India, 1.3 billion population, lots of opportunities across the continent and the country. There's a huge collaboration between India, Africa, lots of, I know some of our partners who import food from India to East Africa, lots of agricultural equipment and quite a lot of shared mutual opportunities. Dinesh, if you can probably take over the floor and probably share your perspective in ways we can harness and promote multilateral collaboration and of course investment flow between Africa and India, that would be great.
Yeah, I'm very happy to address audiences from across the globe. I can see that we have got right now almost 350 odd people live and listening to this event. So I would like to thank all of you, and it is an opportunity for me to address such a diverse audiences from various sectors. So as currently my name is Dr. Dinesh Chauhan, and I am one of the agribusiness consultant, worked across geographies. I bring along with me 20 years of 2 decades plus experience. I had an opportunity to spend a lot of time working closely with various African colleagues, as well as I personally worked in Ethiopia for almost 2.5 years. So before working as a chief operating officer and chief executive officer for an international agribusiness consulting firm, where we had an opportunity to work with various clients ranging from countries like Zambia, Sudan, Angola, and Mozambique. So I have got a brief presentation where I would like to throw some light upon the current scenario and the possibilities of business relationship between India and Africa, and what are the opportunities. So I will share a presentation here. So just a moment, please. So the topic on which I am going to speak is like enhancing Africa-Indo agribusiness value chain partnerships for resilient and business growth opportunities. So if you all must be knowing that Africa has got around 25% of the world arable land, and it generates only 10% of the global agriculture output. And out of these arable lands, around 60% is uncultivated arable land, which can be found in Africa. But then there is a lot of immense possibilities with having a very big population, and which is estimated to increase from 705 million in 2018 to almost 1 billion by 2030. And currently, the Africa is importing around food value of 35 billion per year. This figure is expected to reach around 110 billion by 2025. Africa has the potential not only to achieve food security of the continent, but it can also become a major player in the global food market. The potential Africa has got an immense potential, and it has got immense natural resources and a huge population base, which offers opportunities in terms of both large labor market and an enormous food market. If we talk about India, India is Africa's third largest trading partner with over 70 billion USD in trade and over 50 billion USD in investment. So agriculture sector in India and Africa share certain common characteristics. You see, both India and Africa have got similar kind of we have got various kind of agroclimatic zones, and probably India has faced the similar condition where we are today, and Africa, we were similar like what Africa is today, some 40-50 years back. So we have a lot of things in common to share from, and there are a lot of learning which India can offer to our fellow colleagues in Africa to pick up the experiences from our India, and we can take it forward. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel actually. So we have India. The trade between India and Africa is more than 70 billion US dollar. India and Africa together constitute about one third of world's population and are seen as an investment hotspot for global economy. If we talk about the investment opportunities from India perspective and the opportunities which is there in Africa, so there are a lot of countries where from agriculture perspective there is a lot of opportunities like where Ethiopia, Tanzania, Malawi, Zambia, Cameroon. So all these countries have got a lot of potential. If we talk about we as an Indian investment so like for example, Ethiopia has got a lot of coffee, oilseed, grains and spices. In Tanzania, we have got a lot of agriculture farming space is there. There is strong production of coffee, tea and oilseeds. Malawi has got the strategic location advantage with the access of various other countries around it. Zambia has got like huge agriculture production. Cameroon again has got like agriculture opportunities over there as well as its access to various countries surrounding that. So why? Let's go back a little bit, and we will know that Africa, who it used to be once a net food exporter, it became over a period of time a net food importer. So we need to understand what were the reasons behind this, and and we have to overcome all these issues and challenges so that Africa can again become a net food exporter. So the major agriculture commodities which are imported by Africa currently includes like cereals, animal fats and oils, dairy products, eggs, edible animal products, sugar confectionaries, and edible meat. So I will be touching upon like various domains and areas where we see an opportunities and challenges. So for example, animal protein and fisheries, these are the two sectors where we see there is a lot of possible opportunities for Africa. And if we talk about fisheries, Africa is accounting currently merely 3.6% of the total global trade in fish on an average, and only 30% of its sales production is exported every year. So there is a need for structured marketing linkages by integrating smallholders with potential markets, support and intervention from foreign players who understand the market dynamics. So we need to have a market access. And then because the coastline is huge, as well as the inland fisheries, there is lot of potential in Africa, but which has not been exploited. So these two things can be done, and there is a possibility for that. If we talk about the India's role in growth of Africa's animal protein segment, so there is a lot of success stories which we as a country have got. For example, like we are currently the one of the largest uh, dairy production country in the world. And some of the success stories is like Amul, which has got a great success story of cooperative milk production and farming, where we have removed the intermediaries and the cooperatives are producing and processing and marketing. So there is no middleman in this value chain. So this success story can be replicated by Africa. African players can partner with Indian or foreign players who can provide access to relatively more matured markets, and also can help Africa's animal protein industry to utilize the experience expertise for their benefit. If we talk about agri inputs, so like seed, fertilizer, and pesticide. So if we see that the agri input, there is a immense possibility. The average production of various major crops is very low in Africa. Even if we compare it with the average production of India, I don't say that India is the best in the productivity of its grain, but Africa is still is still not half of the average production of India. So the gap is too huge, and there is the reason behind that is for the low yield is apart from various policies and initiatives taken by various governments and technology and all. There is the other factors which I consider important is like lack of access of quality inputs like seed, fertilizer, and pesticides, and relatively low level of farm mechanization. So, we see that the seed market, for example, is estimated to be 1.5 billion USD, which is just about 2-3% of the world total, and this will double to 3 billion in the next 10 years. So currently, Africa is very minor player in global seed trade, accounting for less than 2%. And 80% of the seeds are distributed through informal seed system, wherein the farmer saves and replants the seed every year. So we can actually change this, and there is lot of scope is there in this particular segment, especially the high quality seed if we talk about. So then same goes with fertilizer also. Like fertilizer utilization consumption is very low per hectare, and some of the reason is like the very high cost of the input of fertilizer. Then in fact even pesticide, the average consumption is very low if we compare with other developed countries. And if we talk about farm machinery sector, so farm machinery again, we will see that there are only because a lot of farmers are like small land holdings is there. So in that case, like farm mechanization is very nascent, and most of these farm mechanization, why it is very low is because the farmers' income are low, and then there is low demand of farm machinery, which leads to the supply side challenges, limiting the mechanization. So what I say that the technology which is available in country like India suits best to the geographies, various geographies of Africa, because these are low cost technologies and which are developed as per the requirement of African needs. So we see that there is a very strong combination when Indian technologies can be utilized far more efficiently than other technologies which are far expensive if we compare with the with Indian technologies. So there we see the possibility. If you talk about opportunities in seed sector, then African seed sector can also look towards the developing partners. We can look towards the opportunities like government to government, then government to private sector, private to private partnership in agriculture. This will help the sector to adopt the learning from the Indian experience. See, I was handling one of the project with for one of my client in Angola, where we were working on providing him with seed varieties of wheat, and it was very difficult for us to locate a grower in Africa, a company who can provide good quality of hard variety seed, which can be produced in Angola. So finally, we got one vendor from South Africa. So that kind of situation is there. Um, if we talk about opportunities in agrochemical sector, so African fertilizer sector should prioritize both domestic and foreign investment in the various activities like development of domestic fertilizer manufacturing capacities. So we need to actually produce locally the fertilizer. Most of the fertilizer companies are like multinationals are coming from outside. So we need to have our own production facilities so that the cost at which it is available to the farmer can be subsidized. There has to be a mechanism subsidy also, which probably over a period of time was taken away, and which has got an impact on increasing the cost of fertilizer to the farmers as well, and at various places. Farm mechanization, I have already told you that agriculture equipment from India can be adopted to Africa. We have seen a lot of players from this part of the world who have been providing customized solution to a lot of clients. But then the requirement is huge. So we can actually be a very good partner in that case, country like India. Now coming to the output side, so food processing and value addition. So as you see that in the coming time, the urban population of Africa is increasing, and the increase in generates the demand for the fooding habit is also changing in that case, and now the requirement for processed food is increasing. So currently exports are largely based on unprocessed products in case of Africa, where Africa normally exports whatever it is exporting is unprocessed. Or for example, let's say 6% of African cotton is only processed, and 25% of cocoa is processed. And most of the processing we export our raw material, and then it is processed in the importing country. So there is a possibility to process it at the source of production itself, so that we realize a better value. So if we add value and then export it, then probably the farmers will be getting a larger share of pie. So we need to develop this food processing sector. Currently, South Africa has got comparatively a very good advanced, one of the most developed countries in terms of food processing if we compare the overall African market. But rest all countries are like not able to add that much of value. So 20% of the GDP is contributed by agribusiness input supply, processing, marketing, and retailing. Urban food market are set to increase by 400 billion USD by 2030, and it will require investment in processing, logistics, market infrastructure, and retail network. So what we see from outside is that there are a lot of countries where there is a lot of opportunities, but then we need to actually create an environment, favorable environment for investment opportunities, and then the financing, access to finance to the farmers, and especially all the small scale farmers who are the who contribute to like more than 80% of the total agriculture in Africa. They need to have easy access of finance. So this last mile connectivity and finance availability to these farmers is very important, along with the investment in infrastructure like road, then the regulations. We have very fragile kind of regulations. So we need to have a good framework for good agriculture practices, as well as specification for products, so that it is acceptable globally. So the standards of products need to be defined in various geographies, so that it is easier for the growers to market. So that so until and unless we produce products which are acceptable as per the standards, we won't get the better value. So we have land, we have we have resources to grow, but we are not growing the right kind of thing with the right quality, so that we are not able to realize the full value. So this is one issue. The second issue is that most of the places we are growing cash crops, and the cereal somewhere we have missed. So we need to be self-sufficient first. So a lot of the countries have to focus on that also, apart from growing the cash crop. And then with the best part with Africa is like with the advent of technology, we need to see that we will be passing through directly to digital era, right? So apart from the what India faced was like when we were there, we have gone through the banking revolution. We set up a lot of branches across India for banking network to reach to the farmers and all, to provide them finance, microfinance, and all those facilities. But what will happen? What I see that in case of Africa, we will be having a leapfrog development, right? So this phase will not be required because of this technology of internet, mobile access, and then what is going to happen that we have lost that. So we are now in a better off position. We can take our technology straight to the farmer with the help of this internet and all. So probably you don't have to invest in the infrastructure like banking network and all. So mobile banking can be one of the way where we can leverage that. Similar goes with precision technology. We can have access to the data. Now we can use precision farming can be used, and then drones and all can be used for application of pesticides. So there are a lot of technological development which has happened. So probably you don't have to go back and reinvent everything. So we can have the experiences and learning which we had here. We can share that. You can pick up the best thing which is available across the world, and then you can go and straight away we can implement that. So that is all which I would like to say, given the short time.
Thank you, Dr. Dinesh. Clearly, there's quite a lot of opportunity and the lesson learned and transfer between India and Africa. Some of the key figures you shared, of course, 8 billion, I don't think is enough. We could do more, and we need to reverse the trend of Africa not being the net importer, also go back, become the net exporter, especially with the, and how we can tap into the 65% unused arable land in Africa. And I know there's lots of opportunity from manufacturing equipment to technology transfer to many other aspects, as you mentioned, finance, and there's huge opportunity. And I look forward to continue working with you to see how we can harness and facilitate this collaboration between the India and Africa. In the interest of time and probably
Thank you.
and